What's the crack, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Cards Everywhere here, bring you another weekly league deck profile. I have been quite busy last week and this week, so there has been a shortage of videos, but it should calm down now for a while, so I should be able to get out another 2 or 3 videos this week for you. But for now, we'll start off with this Time Machine deck, taking advantage of the new Goatman that came out a few days ago. So I'll give you a quick rundown and we'll jump into a game. So first up is Time Machine. On the draw, if your deck has exactly 9 history cards, your science cards, wherever they are, gain 15 power until played, and vice versa. Next we have the Limited Legendary, Mount Everest. On the draw, if it's before round 3 turn 2, this card costs +1 until played. If it's after round 3 turn 2, this card costs -1 until played. And then on the play, if it is round 3 turn 2, give this card and the cards adjacent to it 45 power permanently. Next up, I've gone with some Ingenious Invention cards as they are part of the arena this week. So the first one is Disco Ball. On the play, the card opposite this loses 20 power this turn, and your cards adjacent to this gain 20 power this turn. Then we have Jet Car. On the play, your cards adjacent to this gain 80 power this turn, and then on the return, you lose 40 power for 3 turns. Next is the Linux Kernel. On the play, if played next to any science card, your science cards, wherever they are, gain 15 power for 3 turns, and then repeat for each album. And on the return, if your deck has only science cards, your cards, wherever they are, gain 10 power for 3 turns. Next we have Ben's Patent Motor Wagon. On the play, if it's the first turn of a round, your cards in hand gain 20 power until played. Next is Cell Phone. On the return, your cards, wherever they are, gain 10 power this round. Next is Jigsaw Puzzle. It's not popping up, there we go. On the play, if you are losing the round, your cards in hand gain 20 power for 3 turns. And the final science card is Siege Tower. On the draw, your cards in hand gain 32 power and cost +2 energy until played. It's a high energy week, so we don't need to worry about energy much in this deck. Next we have Goatman. On the play, if your deck has exactly 9 cards from any album, those cards, wherever they are, gain 14 power until played. Then we have Charles Ponzi. I haven't got to play him in a while. On the draw, your cards in hand gain 50 power this turn, and then at the start of a turn, your cards in hand lose 10 power until played. So we want to get them out of the hand as soon as we draw them. Next is Longsword. On the play, if played in the middle slot between any 2 cards, your opponent loses 10 power this turn. Loses 100 power this turn. And then on the return, your weapons of choice cards, wherever they are, cost +4 energy until played. Next we have Andro. On the play, your cards in hand gain 21 power for 9 turns. And then on the draw, if it's after round 3, your cards, wherever they are, lose 10 power permanently. Then I've gone with Night Attack at Targovsky. On the draw, if it's after round 1, your cards, wherever they are, gain 23 power this round. Next is the Mythic, the Grim Reaper. On the play, an opponent's random card in hand loses 50 power permanently. Then we have Shinigami. On the play, if it's the 13th turn of the game or before, a random card on play from your opponent's side of the field loses 500 power this turn. And if it's the 14th or 15th turn of the game, this card loses 500 power. And the last two are Identity Theft. On the play, for every legendary card in your opponent's deck, up to a maximum of 10, your cards in hand gain 4 power until played. And the final card I've gone with is Library of Alexandria. On the play, your history and science cards in hand gain 38 power this turn. Then on the return, this card loses 40 power until played. So that's the deck, guys. I didn't get to play last week too much, so I didn't get into rank 1. So I'm only in rank 10 at the moment, so this deck should have no problems in these lower ranks. Of course, it probably won't stand up to a good Statue of Liberty Beowulf deck this week. Other than that, I haven't seen too many interesting things. There's been some big space decks and just general big good stuff decks. Well, here we go. We found a real opponent, so we give it a hello, and we'll get Ben's around with the Andro. Well, we can't play Andro, so we'll play Library and the Siege Tower. I'll put the Siege Tower in front for a 429 start. I would say that's pretty strong. So we look to be up against a dog deck. It could be a Statue of Liberty sort of dog thing. We'll wait and see. There's our Charles Ponzi. So I get the Grim Reaper around for the permanent damage, and we'll get the Charles Ponzi out of the hand. And we'll set Mount Everest up for round 3. So the opponent did get his Door to Hell right there. So I think we should be okay for this turn, as his cards in hand will be burning. So I'm going to go Andro with the Linux kernel and the Time Machine, and hopefully that's enough to win out the turn. There we go. We have the first round in the bag. And we have a nice Shinigami for next turn. And we have the arena advantage as well with our ingenious inventions. Now this deck does have a lot of cards you need to put in specific slots to make them work. There's a lot of cards that need to be played in the middle. So we just need to work around that. So we won't be doing too much damage with the Shinigami, but we are plenty ahead of him now. So hopefully the Tetsudo formation won't be enough to make a comeback here. And we have longswords here as well, so I think we'll be just fine this game. I'm going to set up cell phone to draw that next time it comes around. And I'm going to play a slightly weaker hand, so maybe we can get some use out of a jigsaw puzzle next turn. And it looks like we might be able to. We are losing by 1 point, so that is perfect. So we get the boost from cell phone, and we have jigsaw puzzle with the jack car if we need it. Though I don't think we will need it. So we get the siege tower around with the library and the jigsaw, and I think 636 will be enough. Oh, perhaps not. I wasn't expecting the opponent to pull out such a big hand. So if we played jack car, we would have won there, but it's okay this turn. We'll save it for later on in the game. Though it's not great losing our arena round. I want to set up night attack, so I will play jack car right now. We'll be playing on the back foot for this round, but we have some powerful cards coming around. And Mount Everest here will do some big damage as well. So let's see if we can get back in the lead here. So we get the boost from Ponzi. So we'll go Night Attack with the Mount Everest and the Ponzi for a 503 plus the boosts. So that gets us plenty head back into the lead. And then next turn, I'll hopefully be able to set up the Linux kernel to give the boosts to everything. So we're both on an even playing field here with the minus 40 power. And I have a Shinigami here. So I'm going to go play Andro with the Linux kernel and the Time Machine for a 283. Not super good, but it looks to be enough to win the turn. So the opponent should have his Tetsuro formation for this round. So I'm going to wait for him to play that before I play my Shinigami. So I'm going to go Cell Phone with the Longsword and the Identity Theft to get them around for hopefully a big hit in the last round if we need it. So we'll see what the opponent goes for. He is going for the Tetsuro formation. So hopefully we'll hit something good next turn. So the Cell Phone will be giving us boosts for this round. And the Siege Tower will give us a few more boosts. So I'm going to go with the fairly strong hand here with 518. We hit the worst card possible with our Shinigami, so that is very, very bad. I think if we hit either of the other two dogs, we'd be in a very good position right now. So I do have the jigsaw puzzle with the jet car and the library, but I don't believe it will be enough to get ahead here. So I'm going to save them all. We get the Grim Reaper around with the Siege Tower. And I suppose I'll play a jigsaw puzzle to get the boosts on the other two cards. So we probably wouldn't have been able to win there, even if I did hit with the Shinigami. He got his Door to Hell and the Tetsuro. But that's most of his good stuff used up here, and his other cards are burning in hand. So I think we'll be okay here from now on anyway. So we get the bends out, and then we'll just go with our strongest hand, other than Jekar. We'll save that for the last round, or the last turn. So we're good 100 ahead here, and we have some decent things ready to come around here. So we have Andro, Charles, and the Night Attack. So we get Charles out with the Andro, and I suppose the Night Attack as well, for a 574. And then I think Jekar will be enough to finish out this game. Let's see what we get here. We got the Time Machine with the Identity Theft. So I think a 383 with the Jekar and Identity Theft boost will be enough to win this game. Let's just see if it is. The opponent might have some very strong dog cards in his hand, but hopefully it's not enough with our 330 lead. So the opponent just seems to be stalling out. Let's see if it'll do him any good. Unfortunately not for him. But there we go. I think this was a fairly good showcase of what the deck can do. It's got some fairly big turns in it. It still won't stand up to the Statue of Liberty Beowulf, but it should give a fairly good game against anything else. So I'll leave it here, folks. I will catch you later in the week for a few more deck lists. And if you enjoyed, don't forget to leave a like and a comment and subscribe if you get the chance. And I'll catch you next time. Cards everywhere, out.